In the echoing corridors of power, a crown is not just gold and jewels. It is a weight, a burden forged in shadows and fire. Long before the sun graces the battlefield, a king's war begins in the silence of his own heart. Every decision, a stone cast into the river of fate. Every life, a whisper he carries into the dawn. What does it mean to lead? Is it the strength to command, or the courage to bear the cost? The world sees the throne, the scepter, the symbols of authority. But behind the steel and stone, there is a young man, wrestling with ghosts of the past and the specter of the future. The whispers of ancestors echo in these cold halls, reminding him that a kingdom is not inherited, it is earned in loyalty, in sacrifice, and sometimes in blood. The air grows heavy, thick with the scent of rain and steel. Dawn breaks not with light, but with a gray, chilling mist that clings to the earth like a shroud. Below, the field waits, a canvas of mud and grass, soon to be painted with the grim artistry of war. For the men who stand ready, this is more than just a battle. It is a testament of faith. Faith in their king, faith in their brothers in arms, faith in the cause that has brought them to this precipice. Each piece of armor is a promise. The cold embrace of the gauntlet, a vow. The helmet's visor closing, a world narrowed to a single, brutal purpose. They are not just soldiers. They are the kingdom's living walls, the very sinew of its strength. The methodical ritual of preparation is a silent prayer, a moment of peace before the storm. The creak of leather, the clink of chainmail, the deep, steady breaths of men who have accepted their destiny. They look to the ridge, to the lone figure of their king, and in his silhouette, they find their resolve. He stands on the precipice, the wind whipping at his cloak, a silent observer of the storm he is about to unleash. The weight of 1,000 futures rests on his shoulders. He sees not just an army, but fathers, sons, and brothers. He hears not just the wind, but the unspoken prayers of a nation holding its breath. This is the moment where history holds its judgment. A king is not defined by the comfort of his court, but by his conduct in the crucible of conflict. The crown feels heavier now than ever before, each jewel a reminder of a life under his protection. His gaze sweeps across the field, a map of mud and men, and in his mind, the battle is already fought 100 times over. Every strategy, every maneuver, every possible outcome weighed and measured. But strategy is a cold calculation. Leadership is the fire that breathes life into it. It's the look in his eye that tells his men he stands with them, not above them. The mist begins to part, revealing the enemy lines, a dark tide rising against them. There is no turning back. The die is cast. His hand rests on the hilt of his sword, not just a weapon, but an extension of his will. The will to protect, to endure, to conquer. The horn sounds, a mournful cry that shatters the morning silence. And then, the roar, a wave of humanity crashes upon itself, a torrent of steel and fury. The world dissolves into a chaotic symphony of violence. The clang of sword against shield, the guttural shouts of men, the squelch of boots in blood-soaked mud. This is the heart of the battle, where plans unravel and only instinct remains. There is no poetry here, only the grim reality of survival. Close in, the fight is a brutal dance. A parry, a thrust, a desperate struggle for an inch of ground. Faces are masks of grit and determination, eyes wide with the adrenaline of combat. The air is thick with the metallic temps of blood and the sweat of exertion. Through it all, the king is a whirlwind of focused rage. He is not a distant commander. He is in the thick of it, his blade a blur, his voice a rallying cry that cuts through the din. He fights not for glory, but for the man beside him. His armor, once polished, is now caked in mud, and dented from blows that would have felled a lesser man. Every swing of his sword is a sentence in the story of his reign, written not in ink, but in the harsh reality of the battlefield. This is where legends are forged, not in grand halls, but in the mud and the blood, where the true character of a king is revealed. As the echoes of war fade, a profound silence settles over the land. The mist returns, not as a shroud of dread, but as a soft blanket over the fallen. The battlefield, once a stage of chaos, is now a quiet testament to the cost of victory. The setting sun bleeds across the sky, casting long shadows that stretch like mournful fingers across the ravaged earth. One figure remains, standing amidst the stillness. The king. His armor is battered, his face streaked with dirt and sorrow, his body weary to the bone. The adrenaline has faded, leaving behind the heavy, aching reality of what has been done. He walks among the fallen, friends and foes alike, each one a life extinguished, a story cut short. This is the other side of the crown, the part they don't sing about in the victory songs. The loneliness of command. The the quiet grief that follows the thunder of war. He looks at his hands, the same hands that held the scepter, now trembling with exhaustion and the weight of his actions. Victory feels hollow, a bitter fruit. The crown is secure, the kingdom safe for another day. But as he stands alone on the quieted field, he understands the true burden he carries. It is not the gold on his head, but the ghosts at his feet. He has won the battle, but the war within has just begun. The path of a king is a solitary one, and the heaviest price of peace is paid in the silence that follows the fight. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more journeys into the heart of history and legend.